Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Today is Earth Day, and we commemorate this day almost 2 weeks after the devastating floods in KwaZulu-Natal that killed over 400 people. Let's discuss the significance of this day now. I'm joined by Tyesha Pillay, political science master's candidate at the University of Pretoria. Very good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I suppose this topic comes at a time where everybody is focusing on this national disaster, KwaZulu-Natal at the forefront when it comes to the tragedy that unfolded and the images that we saw speaking to some really important elements around the environment and climate change. What's your take?
My heart goes out to all those affected by the floods. I think today provides a great opportunity for us to learn more about climate change. The negative impact of climate change is growing year by year at a cost to both human life and the economy. The KwaZulu-Natal floods have emphasized the importance of climate change literacy across all sectors. This is what makes Earth Day particularly important. It provides an opportunity to educate individuals about environmental issues and strategies and to motivate all stakeholders to be more environmentally conscious. The Earth Day movement has yielded numerous victories. Richer countries have seen a decrease in pollution, the health of species and ecosystems have improved, and 195 countries have gone on to sign the Paris Agreement.
A lot of attention has also been on governments and government's role. Government seeing that this is not going to get any better when it comes to the topic around climate change. And, governments need to step up. How should they begin to do so, especially looking at the loss of lives that we've seen?
I think the first strategy that the government needs to implement is improving their policies and improving implementation. I feel like South Africa has a lot of good policies in place, but our implementation is years behind where it needs to be. So the first step is policy implementation.
I suppose what has been incredibly difficult and perhaps the focal point being on the relationship between the environment and poverty, which is what we've seen throughout the 2-week period. What do you think are some of the conversations around that in tackling that very thin line?
I think that modern environmentalism currently exists in a paradox. The economy and social political context of the global south completely contrast that of the developed world. The global south, unfortunately, has a peculiar relationship with regards to the environment and conditions of poverty. And when it comes to international strategies, it seems to be forgotten. Climate change affects everything from access to healthcare to access to food, employment, and living standards. Rural communities often live on fragile land and are socially, economically marginalized and vulnerable.
I suppose that this then raises questions around the sustainability of the future. I mean, what are we looking at, especially just recalling the horrors of KwaZulu-Natal?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Just questions around the sustainability of the future. Where are we standing as we, take stock of what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal and look at how people are really living in the aftermath, trying to rebuild their lives?
I think this really highlights the question of we are directly and indirectly dependent on natural resources. Like, it adds to our environmental stress, but it plays a key role in keeping countries and families financially afloat. So in order to ensure sustainability, we need to ensure education.
Education is a very important part of it. And I suppose, for those who may be wanting to find out what role can I play as an individual when it comes to the bigger conversation around climate change, what would you say to that?
I think we can begin by trying to be more environmentally conscious. We can start looking at our shopping habits, the waste. We can try planting trees,
Okay, we appear to have lost Tyesha Pillay speaking about Earth Day and the significance of such a day as we take stock and perhaps look at the aftermath of the deadly KwaZulu-Natal floods.